Hey, Viking fans, your Vikings brought in two veterans, add them to the 53-man roster. We're going to talk about them next in three, two, one. Gather around, Skull Brothers and Sisters. This is Skull World, brought to you by Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. Now, make sure you Hulk smash the like button, subscribe, comment, heck, even ring the bell. Look at that ticker below. That's what you got to do. Skull Vikings. We're going to talk about some 53-man roster moves. We got rid of Jalen Rager, and we moved some players around, and we Kenny Nwangu put him on the IR, and we had two spots added to the 53-man roster. We didn't bring anybody up. We went and got two vets. We went and got a running back to probably be our number three, maybe a third down back, and we got a tackle with some starting experience that could be a significant backup if one of our tackles go down, and he's had some guard experience. So let's talk about it. I got in one of the guys, davidquessenberry, has a story to tell. He has overcome an obstacle, and we're going to read about it. Now, I'm also throwing in a bonus lineman because he's part of one of the stories, because we are weak at we were weak at depth offensive line. So we brought in another player, and we'll talk about him too. We'll add him. Now let's get started. Let's talk about our new Minnesota Vikings. Let's do it. All right, let's start off with Myles Gaskins. All right, Myles Gaskins, and this is an article by Bleacher Report by Mike Chiari. Myles Gaskins, Vikings agreed to contract after running backs released by Dolphins. Agents Drew Rosenhaus, Ryan Matha said Wednesday that free agent running back Myles Gaskins will sign contract with Minnesota Vikings. So this happened. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Gaskins will be signed to the Vikings active roster one day after deadline for the NFL teams to cut their rosters down from 90 players to 53. This all already happened. With the Miami Dolphins experiencing a logjam in the backfield, Gaskins among their cuts on Tuesday. Now, I'm going to tell you, I got a Vikings fan that's a really good friend of mine, a Miami Dolphins fan who's a really good friend of mine, and he liked him. He thought he was a good player. 20 and 21, he was their leading rusher. He's got 40 catches in the game. Now, his production doesn't look all that great, but hey, Miami had a terrible offense for 2 years while he was their leading rusher. He doesn't need to be the leading rusher. But one of the things I like to say is Brian Flores was his head coach and knows who he is, knows what he can do. So that's a significant contribution. Now, can a should be able to come back after the fourth game, hopefully, and regain his position. This guy was insurance. We'll see. We'll see what we have here. Maybe Kenny's out for the entire year. I don't know who's returning kicks. Yet to be determined. Powell do both. Does Gaskins return kicks? I don't know. We'll find out here. After starting collegiately at the University of Washington, Gaskins was a seventh round draft pick by the Dolphins in 2019. He played sparingly as a rookie before becoming a significant part of the offense in 20 and 21. In 2020, Gaskins rushed for 584 yards and 3 touchdowns while also catching 41 passes for 388 yards and 2 scores. He followed that up the next season with career highs in rushing yardage 612, rushing touchdowns 3, receptions 49, and receiving touchdowns 4. Due to a combination of injuries and coaching decisions, Gaskins was limited to just 4 games last season, rushing 10 times for 26 yards and catching 4 passes for 28 yards. Now, there's some Viking fans think this is a terrible idea, but hey, we don't need him to beat out the top 2 players. We think we got 2 good running backs. So do we want a guy maybe with a particular skill, and that's a guy who can catch some passes. And who knows? I don't know his blocking ability, but that's probably a consideration that this guy will come in and maybe do that. So we'll see. Gaskins was a non-factor in head coach Mike Daniels' offense and fell behind the likes of Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Salvon Ahmed in the running back pecking order. Mozart, Wilson, Ahmed returned this year. Plus, the Dolphins used a third-round pick to select Devon Kane, leaving Gaskins as the odd man out. Gaskins should have the opportunity to vie for a major role in the Minnesota offense this season due to lack of quality depth at running back. This is crap. Do your homework. Do your homework. We got two guys that are gonna split time. Alexander Madison is the Vikings' new starter after the release of four-time Pro Bowler Dalvin Cook, and there's little in the way of NFL experience behind him. That part is true. Ty Chandler, who was 2022 fifth-round pick, rushed just 6 times for 20 yards as a rookie. After 2021 fourth-round pick Kenny Nwangu has rushed for 22 times for 75 yards in 2 seasons, primarily serving as a kick returner. Gaskins' pass-catching acumen could put him in the mix of the Vikings' third-down running back right out of the gates, which would perhaps be a productive role as Cook and Madison combined for 54 receptions last season. Vikings open the regular season slate September 10th with a home game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, give this guy 5-10 plays where he can memorize in 2-minute drill, see what he can do, or third down, whatever. But we got 2 running backs that I think that could be our starter. So I am happy with that, and do not worry about it. The next player, Vikings signed veteran off. Let's make sure this is the right one. This is Fan Nation. All right. Vikings serving veteran offensive tackle David Quessenberry. Quessenberry replaces Vidarian Lowe on the roster as an important backup tackle. Vikings are signing veteran offensive tackle David Quessenberry to their active roster pending a physical, according to NFL Network's Mike Garofalo. Quessenberry, 33, was released by the Bills on Tuesday. The 6'5", 310-pound tackle started 3 games for Buffalo last year after starting all 17 games in the Titans at right tackle in 2021. He also started 6 games for the Tennessee at left tackle in 2020. Overall, he has played in 55 games in the regular season and playoffs, starting 28 of them. But before making his NFL debut in 2017 with the Texans, Quessenberry had quite the journey. He wasn't recruited out of high school, so he walked into the football team at San Jose State and wound up starting 38 games for the Spartans, earning first team all-conference honors in 2012. Quessenberry was drafted by Houston in the 6th round in 2013 and suffered a season-ending foot injury before rookie season began. Then in 2014, he was diagnosed with lymphoma and placed on the Texans' non-football injury list. After beating the cancer, Quessenberry made the return to the NFL for OTAs in 2017. 3 years and quite a bit of practice squad time later, he made his first career start for the Titans. This is a nice depth addition to the Vikings offensive line in 2021. His lone season as a full-time starter, Quessenberry earned a 80.5 or 80.6 PFF grade that was tied for 14th best out of 57 tackles with at least 600 snaps. Played his 89.1 run blocking grade with 5th best among that group, helping balance out a 61.6 pass blocking grade. He was charged with 43 pressures and 11 sacks allowed that year. Last year, he earned an average grade with the Bills, but showed his versatility by playing both tackles positions and right guard. Quessenberry replaces Vidarian Lowe, who was traded for the Patriots on Sunday, as an important backup tackle for the Vikings. Minnesota also has Blake Brandel and Ole Udoh as backups who are capable of playing both tackle and guard. So, just letting you know, I'm going to leave it at this. I'm not going to talk about that UDFA lineman, but let's talk about the situation that Kwesi just potentially got us out of. We went from a guy who's never played a game at left tackle, who we drafted in the 6th round, right? We drafted him in this or 6th or 7th round in 6th round. That was Vidarian Lowe. I had kind of high hopes for him. I talked about his arm length and his hand length, but he's not as athletic as Darisaw, or mean on the field. But we got a 6th round pick back for him, and then we got a veteran tackle who's started an entire season for a team, who's overcame cancer and as a fighter and we brought him to the team, and he's a heck of a run blocker, average at best at pass blocking. It sounds like our interior line, but we got we got this guy, and he's gonna be someone we could lean on if we have to. And I feel a lot better about playing this guy at tackle than I do Oliudo or or Brandell. Brandell, I think, should be your backup guard. I think he might be starting at right guard for us sometime during the season. But hey, Kwesi made some moves. We need a third running back that doesn't need to take snaps away from our two starters and can play third down, can play 2 minute drill. And then we got a very experienced tackle, and now we feel a lot better about our offensive line depth. I do. Brandel and now this guy, I feel a lot better. Randall at guard, this guy at left tackle, right tackles, either or. He's played both. I feel a lot more comfortable. Shout out to Kwesi for making minor moves that helped us feel a little bit better about our depth, honest to God. And then, not to mention, putting all those guys on the practice squad that we wanted to keep. We were worried about, losing some players, and he was able to keep them. Most of the ones that we wanted. And then the whole time, we also kept Nick Muse on the 53. So shout out to Kwesi. Give him some props for this. He made two solid moves, getting depth pieces that have lots of experience in the NFL. And out of the whole deal, he got a 6th round pick back. Skull Vikings. Cue the music.